March 13th, 2021. Guys, a quick weather update because this extremely cold air with tremendous amounts of snow, record-breaking and blizzards that are coming across basically north of the Four Corners. They've been talking about it for a few days. It came in as a low pressure over California, then moved through Arizona and north again through the Four Corners. Now you've got places like Colorado here and north of there into Wyoming, western Nevada. All of this is being caught up in this snowstorm. And they're talking about records going back to when they really started watching it in 1885. And if you want to take the time and look up the weather of 1885, you'll see that it wiped out much of the cattle industry across this area of the nation. It was very devastating what had happened at that point. But right now, Texas, you've got tornado warnings. We've got a clash of very warm air. We're around 80 degrees or so here in central Mississippi, and it's much colder than that. So we've got moisture coming in off the Gulf. We have all this warm air over the south. For 3 days, we've been on the tractors here getting the gardens ready, things like that. Spots cleaned up and fertilized put in and tilling and plowing the entire 9 yards, guys. But that is a problem with this type of dip in the vortex. In other words, you have a low pressure system coming in California. We talked to our kids and grandkids in Phoenix, and they were in the 40s. Big difference. Normally that's a pretty warm place. But now that it's coming into Texas, into the panhandle, what you're seeing in the yellow is tornado watches, and these red dots here and here. This is Lubbock, South Plains area here. And this area is Texas and Oklahoma area. And it's going to be moving east. So you've got 2 tornado warnings out there now. So if you got folks in this area, then you need to check on them. Make sure they're aware of what's going on. Because on one side of the storm, it again is very warm. It's been beautiful spring weather here. But this system is going to move across the country. We'll keep an update on it now. It's starting to get serious. And these storms could move across the southeast over the next few days. But places in Colorado, north of Colorado, you're getting into some blizzard warnings in the orange, and the pink is winter storm warnings, and the purple storm warnings. Guys, so it's just kind of name your poison at this point. Out in front of you, got winter storm watches that are all along the area here from central Iowa into southern Minnesota. And there's been some moisture already occurring in this area. You notice the flooding and flash flood watches. So again, everything's coming together. It's going to get cooler north of us, but we're going to catch the bad weather as far as tornadoes and severe thunderstorms. But I'm going to quickly go to radar. I'm going to keep it short so it will upload fast. Again, check on your neighbors, your friends in this area of the country. Make sure if you're in this path, again, this is going to, all of this bad weather is just going to move across the country. Just like that as it clashes. You had a dip in the vortex bringing the cold air, and again, the low pressure system off the coming off the California coast. Now, looking at the satellite images of the U.S., you can see where the moisture is pulling in from the Gulf. It's very warm here in this area. And this collision right here, again, this breakout along the Texas Panhandle is where the tornadoes are now. This is going to, again, bring record snow from here north through Colorado. The sections of highways are going to be knocked out, guys. They're talking about in some locations up to 3 feet of snow. But it's a very good study, and it goes to what I've been talking about for the last few years, is grand solar minimum can be an event-changing experience. In other words, like in 1885, in that period of time, it trapped cattle across the nation and snowed in. Nobody could do anything about it. They had to change the laws across this country about fencing and things like that. But it was devastating to a lot of folks when that happened then. And we know that we are not the best prepared. I don't think any nation on the planet is prepared for some of the types of weather that we've been seeing. Look at Texas and look all the way to Mississippi, and this ice storm we're just coming out of. It disrupted mail, packaging, anything. You guys were getting stuff from us. It was taking forever. Some of you are just now getting it. Some of it we just don't know what happened in the USPS and have resent it. And the same thing with incoming parts, things like that. So that disrupted a lot of things. And there was a tremendous amount of crop damage in some of the areas because of this ice. That's going to come out with much higher, it will end up with shortages and much higher prices. And if you're talking to people around the nation enough to realize that we are seeing massive inflation on the food lines right now in the food stores, it's coming home to roost, the overprinting of money. But again, this weather is going to be devastating to the crops also. In many areas, you snow, and then you've got wind damage. But guys, right now, Texas Panhandle, you're under the gun, and that's just going to be moving to the east and northeast. We're watching it. You watch it. It's a heads up. Be safe.